Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
All right. We got the 1980s Vanagon here for today's episode. I'm going to be doing some yellow window tint on the sides here and on the back. But before I do that, got to let it warm up here. I'm going to start it up. I'm going to run to the post office. But I need to get this thing started up and warmed up a little bit because it is about 54 degrees here in Florida today. A little bit cold to be doing some window tint. Alright, so this is Buddy Brian's Vanagon. I featured this in a video, 2 videos actually beforehand. So if you want to check them out, make sure you do. He got this really cool shifter extension. These are just basically 45 degree or almost 45 degree little extensions that he added onto his stock shifter. So now we're shifting way up here. Kind of weird, but pretty damn awesome if you ask me. So I'm gonna let this thing warm up. Let's go do a walk around on this thing while it's warming up, take a look at it a little bit closer, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do today. Like I said, we're tinting the side doors and we're tinting the rear window here. And we're going to be using some Amazon purchase tint. It's the yellow, which you can kind of see here on the headlight. He just threw this piece on here just to get an idea of how it would look on the headlights, but we're going to go ahead and do the windows. I'm going to give it a couple more hours to warm up before I do it. He's got some Mercedes wheels. These are 16-inch Mercedes wheels that he put on. And he got his own custom logo on the center cap as well. He also put a plexiglass panel over this engine access piece on the bed here. So if we got some extra vinyl left over, we're going to go ahead and tint this. This vehicle's awesome because it has these flip up and flip down sides. We're gonna go ahead and leave them down for this little trip to the post office, and that's it. So let's head over there now. I'm gonna bring you along for the little ride, and then when we come back, we'll let it warm up for maybe a couple more hours, and then I'm gonna come out here and throw some tint on these windows. So if you want to see how it's done, follow along. All right, I gotta say, this is a really fun vehicle to drive. It's not very fast, it's not very powerful, but it's an old classic Volkswagen, so what do you expect? You know what I'm saying? So, in light of today's video of doing yellow window tint, I got the yellow flannel on because it is cold out and it's windy. So, take a ride to the post office and we'll go home and get started on this project. Alright, here we are at our 1891 little old post office in Terracea, Florida. This thing is an ancient little building. It's probably haunted, if I had to guess. But it's nice and close to home. It helps me avoid sitting in traffic and all kinds of stuff. Alright, here we are at the window. So what you're going to want to do to start out is get this window really clean. That's pretty obvious. Second step is to really make sure you get it kind of clean behind the seal down here, this window scraper. because you're going to want to tuck that tint down behind the rubber here. That way when you put the window down, this doesn't snag the edge. The edge is already below that. So I just went ahead and soaked this window with some Windex, and now I got one of these little tools. These are for doing vinyl wraps and tight little spots. You can get these on Amazon as well, along with the window film. So what I did is I just stuck it down in there, scraped all the dirt from behind there, sprayed it down again, and then wrapped a microfiber around the end of one of these. All right, and now I'm just pushing it down through there, and I'm getting all that gunk off that window right below that window scraper line. There we go. Okay, so this first driver window is now done. You see, I just took my squeegee and I just pushed it into that groove there where the window line or the window frame seal starts. And I just tucked it in there a little bit, ran my blade back at an angle so I'm cutting on the glass, not on the seal. And it basically cuts right on that line there, and then it tucks in. Then down here, the same thing. You want to just leave a maybe 1/8 of an inch, well, maybe more than 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch at most. Leave a little bit overhang in the seal here. You cut that off with your blade initially, and then when you're ready to come back in, is get it underneath that seal. You want to get a tool like this, and you can see me what I was doing in that previous clip is I was just raising that seal away from the window enough to get a squeegee in right behind it and tuck it back in there. All right, and then make sure you get all your bubbles out. As long as it's wet enough, they'll come right out. So you want to get like a wrap squeegee. You can see right here I'm pushing harder and there's more water bubbling up there. So this is where, you know, initially you want to use the soft edge of the squeegee to get everything laid out flat, and then you want to come back in through the whole thing again, the hard edge, and that's going to help push out a little bit more water that you might have missed. You see there's quite a bit still in here. And you always want to kind of start in the middle and work your way out towards the edges. And then what you can do after you're done doing this, getting all that water out, you can either let this sit out in the sun, and the sun will dry up any maybe residual water that's left over from behind the from squeegeeing. Or if you have a heat gun and you're comfortable with it, you can go ahead and go over the edges of this whole window with the heat gun, and that'll help dry up some of that excess water that may still be back behind there. Like there's an edge here that's just slightly lifted. So I'm going to come back through with the heat gun and kind of heat these edges, and that'll help them lay flat and get any little droplets of water out. All right.
You look like a good dog trainer. Always up. Always looking at you. I got a Tasmanian Devil Yorkie if you want to try that one.
Slide it around while it's still wet. Hold it in place and just work your way to the edges.
Almost certain when you're doing this in a window kind of like this shape that you're going to have some water that just does not want to seem to get out, right? So since water and gravity work together, you're gonna wanna make sure that you're pushing your water left and right and down, not up, because that water is just gonna fall right back behind that vinyl. So when you're having like a lifted edge like this, you wanna kinda go out and down with it if you can. This is gonna take a little bit of heat to kind of shrink this up to that edge a little bit, but I'm gonna kind of keep trying to push this water down.
Okay, so and lastly, if you are still having issues trying to get water out from the very edge here, it's probably hard to tell, then it probably means you're actually overlapping the seal a little bit, and you're going to want to go back in and just cut a sliver off of those sections. This takes a lot of steady hand and patience. If you just cut off the sliver that's bubbling up, see it right there, just this little bit of sliver, and theoretically, now that that's not overlapping that seal, now it's laying down nice and flat. There's no more areas that are lifted for that water to be trapped under. Go ahead and just push all your edges all the way down. Make sure you don't have any of the film overlapping your seals. And that's pretty much that. I have to trim a little bit off of here too, because it's kind of lifting up. So otherwise, that's done.
Okay, well, that was pretty easy. The wind was really, really difficult. But it's pretty cool. It's like a nice yellowish tint in here now. There it is. I really like how it looks because it's yellow, but it's still subtle. Goes well with that green color. Got the rear panel here. I didn't go all the way to the edge. I just cut it where that curve of the seal is. So that's a nice yellow now too. Got the rear window. Take a look at the inside. It's definitely a lot more yellow glow inside, which is expected. Well, let me know what you think in the comments. If this video helped you, please give a subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I have some more how-to videos coming up here soon. Don't forget to check out my shorts videos. I like going to car shows and filming some cars. Ooh, look at that. All right. Well, thanks for watching my channel. I appreciate it. Hopefully that helped you. We'll see you in the next one. Okay, don't forget to subscribe by clicking on the right there, and make sure you check out my other video on the left.